percent of your job can be done by AI and what percent can't? They've developed AI impact score.
We are using LLM to judge AI impact over the vast library of our success profiles.
There may be pushback.
If an employee hears 40% of my job can be automated, they are likely to hear 40% of my value is disappearing.
Resist the urge to create AI adoption strategy that's independent of the people on your teams.
What's your number? Hi, I'm Jill Wiltfong, Chief Marketing Officer for Korn Ferry, and this is Briefings, our deep dive into topics that corporate leaders need to care about. To automate or not to automate? That is a question company leaders have been asking big time ever since AI burst on the scene. Last year, one study found that 4 in 10 business leaders cut some staffing because of AI because they thought AI made the role redundant. The only problem? Over half those leaders now admit they made a mistake. Turns out that while AI makes part of some jobs redundant, there is still another part that needs human involvement. The big question, what percent of your job can be done by AI and what percent can't? That's exactly what our guests today have been looking into. Through some fascinating and very high stakes research, they've developed a tool called AI Impact Score. A number that can tell leaders precisely which responsibilities AI can handle in a given role and which ones require humans. And if their efforts catch on, it might just take us all into a future where the only real question at the office is, what's your number? Before we start, if you're watching us on YouTube, please be sure to like, subscribe, and leave a comment to let us know your thoughts on this topic. I am joined now by Karin Visser and Daisy Graywall here at Korn Ferry. Their work on AI's role at companies could be creating a whole new paradigm. Really great to have you both here.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
So, Daisy, let me start with you. Can you briefly walk us through how you determine a given role's AI impact score and what exactly it means to get a certain score?
There's a lot that goes into the methodology, but essentially we are using LLMs to judge AI impact over the vast library of our success profiles. So we have over 10,000 of these success profiles. So it's giving us really good signal at scale about how AI is changing jobs across different functions, across industries, as well as across geographies.
There have, of course, been other systems of determining how automatable a role is. But Karin, you say that Korn Ferry success profiles, as it was just alluded to, are really kind of the secret sauce to differentiating this AI impact score from those other systems. What are success profiles and why do they make the AI impact score more meaningful?
Success profiles are Korn Ferry's way of defining what grades look like in a role. They really define the responsibilities that need to be delivered in a role, and then connect those responsibilities to competencies, skills, traits, and drivers that enable successful performance based on scientific measures. Many approaches to AI automation look at broad job titles or occupations and ask how automatable is this role? But that can be really, really misleading because 2 people with the same title may do very different work, and 2 people in very different functions may actually share a lot of similar responsibilities. So AI does not really disrupt job titles. It disrupts the underlying work.
That's Charlie Chaplin in a scene from the movie Modern Times where the act of automation is taken to an extreme as Chaplin is fed lunch by a robot. Of course, we doubt things will ever get that absurd, but Daisy, you said that leaders do need to see AI more through the lens of job redesign instead of job elimination. And you've given the example of software developers and how AI might restructure a role like that. Tell me more.
That's what's really in the media right now. How many fewer software engineers do you need because of AI? It's a reasonable question, given that AI is so good at coding, and it's trained on so much coding data. But actually, what you find when you look inside the job is that there's a big smattering of responsibilities across the software engineering's jobs. So you'll see a bunch of responsibilities like coding where AI has a big impact. Now, not necessarily automation impact. And then there's all these other responsibilities about what to build, how to build it, how to think through the structure of it that AI is not so good at. So we actually see pretty mixed results. And the early data is actually showing that software engineer hiring is not decreasing. So I think that's interesting validation that it's not a one-to-one replacement.
Korn, how much pushback do you think employees will have when their firms tell them, let's say 40% of their job can be automated? Is that going to cause friction in the workplace?
Yes, I would say there will absolutely be pushback if this is communicated poorly, of course. Like if an employee hears 40% of my job can be automated, they are likely to hear 40% of my value is disappearing. That creates a lot of fear, defensiveness, and friction. I think the better way to frame this is a portion of your current responsibilities is exposed to automation or redesign. That is a very different message. It says that the work is changing, not that the person is less valuable.
Daisy, let's talk a little bit about that. Many leaders have conducted AI-related layoffs only to regret it later. So I do want to end by asking you the very practical question of how can leaders go about implementing an AI impact score concept in their companies to make better decisions going forward, do things a little differently than maybe they have been to date?
I think there's a real opportunity right now for companies who are thinking about this a bit differently than just automation and reduction. All signs have been showing for many years now that we are all going to be facing a labor shortage in the future, that talent is getting more and more scarce, and those trends are not changing, they're accelerating. So companies who are saying, how do I get AI to do the things that it does best so that I can get more out of my human talent and retain people and have them do higher value work. If you ask it that way, you're going to get much more return on your investment, both now as well as in the long term.
Well, Daisy, Korn, thank you so much for joining me today and sharing your research with us. Certainly got me thinking, probably all of us thinking about how to deploy AI in a really different way. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Jill.
We've looked at how an AI impact score can potentially help companies make better use of AI across their firms. After the break, we'll speak with a professor of AI and communication on how companies and employees can integrate this job redesign into everyday work life. So stay with us.
Hi, and welcome to This Week in Leadership. I'm Rupak Bhattacharya, and here's a quick look at what else is happening in business.
It's easy to blame AI because it's kind of a black box.
AI agents are showing up in org charts, but accountability isn't keeping pace. New research finds 23% of firms now refer to AI agents as employees, but managers are more likely to miss AI mistakes and blame the technology when things go wrong. The takeaway? AI still needs human ownership because responsibility can't be automated.
Boredom is a tendency for us to not be occupied otherwise cognitively.
AI is changing internships in an unexpected way. As routine work gets automated, many interns are left fact-checking AI instead of learning from people. In fact, 43% of interns said their biggest concern at work is that AI will reduce critical thinking and decision-making skills. The challenge now, say experts, is to design programs that engage interns in higher value work without overwhelming and paralyzing them.
Currently testing out a quiet hours program.
Retailers are trying something different, turning down the volume. New so-called quiet hours feature dimmer lights and no music, aiming to attract the estimated 10% of the population which is neurodivergent and highly sensitive to sound. So, will quiet hours become a new norm in shopping? As with most retail efforts, one store tries it while others watch and wait to see if they should follow suit. For more insights from This Week in Leadership, head to kornferry.com/insights. Now back to Jill and our episode. What's your number?
birth of the ATM, and it was obvious, why would we need bank tellers anymore? But as a surprise to just about everyone, including bank executives, everybody in the industry, as the number of ATMs climbed, the number of bank tellers climbed.
We're back. In the first half of this episode, we discussed how a so-called AI impact score might help companies avoid AI-related layoffs that they later regret. Now we're going to dig into how companies and employees should actually be dealing with this new world of job redesign. And joining me for this chat is Emily DeJay, faculty lead for the Executive Education Program on AI and Communication at Carnegie Mellon University's Tepper School of Business. Emily, thanks for joining me.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
So that last clip featured YouTuber Phil Andrews speaking on his Maxonomics channel about how everyone originally thought ATMs would replace bank tellers, when in fact, they increased their number. AI seems to be going through a similar cycle of fear over job cuttings and then hopefully relative calm. However, you mentioned that perhaps one important difference is that certain roles are now being asked to be more technical than they've been in the past, and you cited the product manager as an example. Tell me a little bit more about that.
There are roles like product management or maybe certain roles in marketing where we don't think about these jobs as highly technical jobs. Product managers prior to AI, probably as a group, were not necessarily equipped to create mock-ups or draft prototypes or something. But now AI enables that. And so what we're hearing is that you increasingly have these lean teams where product managers are expected to do everything a product manager would normally do and lean into the technical work a little bit more.
Interesting. So if something like the AI impact score becomes more mainstream at companies, that of course does raise the question of what an employee is supposed to do if 20% of their job is suddenly automated. And to your point, much of that job description has probably changed. How should company leaders be looking to fill the employee's time? Is it taking on new things? Is it doing a better job of what you used to do? How should they be thinking about this?
We have to think about, to your point about bank tellers and ATMs, that Jevons paradox is a real thing, right? Economists would say when something gets more efficient or cheaper, we just want more of it, right? We just consume more of it. I think the example that's often used is as steam-powered trains become more efficient, coal just goes up. And so there's a case to be made. I think that if certain tasks become semi or highly automated, we might just want employees to do more of those things. If now you're able to largely automate your report writing, it might just increase the demand for report writing in your organization.
There's huge commercial pressure to build AIs with greater and greater agency to replace human labor. But we're not ready. We still don't have the scientific answers nor the societal guardrails. We're playing with fire.
That's computer scientist Yoshua Bengio speaking at TED on the dangers of AI for workers. There may be pushback on jobs being reshuffled, and it's touchy. It's so touchy that a study earlier this year found that 3 out of 10 employees are purposely undermining their firm's AI rollout. Of course, as we've been saying, AI may shift worker responsibilities rather than replace them, but that message still doesn't seem to be getting across. Emily, how should leaders be addressing their workforce and alleviating their fears if they're facing this kind of pushback from their teams?
Resist the urge to, in the C-suite, sort of imagine and create AI adoption strategy that's independent of the people on your teams. For instance, if you approach your sales team and you say, this consultant and I have talked about it, we built this tool, you're going to use it this way, right? I can immediately imagine a lot of resistance, a lot of pushback, which would be totally different if you start with the sales team and you do the work of interviewing them to better understand their jobs and you say, where do you see opportunities for efficiency gains? Or where do you see tasks that are not high value to you that we could sort of quickly speed up, right? Or we could just take off your plate entirely.
You're in an interesting position of training the next generation of workers and leaders. And you have said that because of AI, we're not going to see the same payoff from doubling down on teaching technical skills as we've seen in the past. And it is, in fact, the human touch skills that you think will increasingly have more value in time, which I find interesting. Tell me more about that.
We've spent several decades really sending a strong message to students and their families. You need to go into fields that are technical. I do think we're going to see a diminishing returns on those skills. What we're hearing from our alumni and different recruiters we talk to is that now it's not so much that you must be able to write all of your own raw code. It's that you need to possess all of that knowledge, but you are going to supervise the work of AI agents that are writing your code. And it's all about judgment and discernment. Those are really in the purview of behavioral skills. And so we've sort of, we've been downplaying the value of these skills, I think, for several decades. And I think that's changing. I think now people are seeing, we need our people to come in with all of these behavioral skills.
Emily, a really thought-provoking conversation. Very much enjoyed it. Thank you for being here today.
Thank you.
The executive producer of Briefings is Jonathan Dahl. Today's episode was produced by Rupak Bhattacharya and Zachary Dorr, and it was edited by Jaron Henry McRae. It contains reporting by Russell Perlman, Ariane Cohen, and Peter Loria. Our video segment contains original artwork by Fraser Milton, Haley Kennel, Jonathan Pink, and Sasha Kotschik. And our web operations are managed by Ed McLaurin. Don't forget to read our magazine, available at newsstands and at kornferry.com/briefings. That's it for Korn Ferry Briefings. I'm Jill Wiltfong. See you next time. Sorry, I am having a blah, 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 mouth problem here.